Welcome back to the shop, friends. So we got a really interesting video for you here today. We are going to put the roof rack back on the Jeep. Now we're not just going to install it, we're modifying it. We're essentially taking a Garvin roof rack and making it into a slimline rack. It's going to be basically just a platform, kind of like the newer style racks. But let me show you what I've done so far and why. Okay, here's our Garvin roof rack. Now, in a recent adventure we took looking at Nevada Hot Springs Part 1, we're still working on Part 2. I'll leave a card up here so you can take a look at it. We took my off-road trailer, and while the trailer performed really well, no problems at all, it's just not really our thing. We're not really towing trailer off-road type. The reason being the Jeep is designed to camp out of the back of it, so you have this tongue that comes out of the back, and then you're constantly walking over it or walking around because the tailgate creates like this tight, narrow area between the trailer and the Jeep itself, and it doesn't work for us, right? If you're turning around off-road and you're in a tight area, you have to do like a 5,000 point turn to make it around. And we don't really carry enough gear to really need a trailer, to be honest. Our swag is the biggest thing and it goes right on the roof rack. Then we carry one 5-gallon can and a little bit of firewood sometimes. We don't really need an entire 9-foot trailer for that. So my thought was we can put the roof rack back on. The reason I originally took it off was because I couldn't fit the Jeep in the garage. Now I live in an apartment, I have to have the Jeep inside the garage, unfortunately, to work on it because I don't really have a driveway to work on the vehicle. But my thought was, if we take this rail off, well, let me bring in you here and show you what I've done. Here's the Garvin roof rack. You can see that I've already cut this railing apart. This is probably gonna save about 20 pounds maybe, which is good. Every pound off the rack is a good thing. So what do we have to do to it? So when we have a pretty flat surface, these bars I've already welded in. They used to mount on top, onto here, like onto this cross rail with a bolt that went through it. I lowered them into the frame and then welded them all up. So these are pretty strong. And the bars that I added are all 3/16. Garvin normally uses 1/8. So we're doing pretty good with that. I think this thing is gonna be pretty strong, to be honest, just like it is. But let's flip it over. I need to do a bit more welding on the back side for these crossbars. Oh, this thing is still heavy though. And the reason is because normally on a Garvin rack, these two pieces are bolted together and this rail outside here is bolted. And because I cut that bolt piece off, we got to run some weld around this corner on all 4 sides. While the paint is drying on the rack out there, I figured we'd get these front pillar mounts installed. Now I have these off-road lights, these rigid lights mounted on this KC mount here, this pillar mount. I really like this setup. I like the lights down here. I don't really want to move them. So what I'm thinking of doing is just seeing if we can maybe modify the bracket a little bit to accept this as it is and just bolt these right on there. So first things first, we got to loosen this light up. And Perry here, Sammy, whatever his name is, he is in my way. All right, let's see. Maybe if we just slide it all the way forward like that, maybe that'll give us enough space. Let's take a look here. Oh, that may just do it. I might have just enough wiggle room. Let's see if we can mount it. I love this little Milwaukee gun. Makes these jobs so quick. Now, what are the chances this is going to fit like this? Don't know. You know, looking at this, I had a different thought. I don't have a round file that'll fit in here, but what if we just take a drill bit? We just knock a hole, take a drill bit, drill a little bit off, and then file it nice. What do you think? You think that'll work? I'm not entirely sure, but it's worth a shot. Of course, one of the problems is trying to get enough pressure on it. Yeah, it looks like it's gonna have plenty of clearance now. Perfect. Yeah, about a finger's width in there, that should be good enough. All right, let's do the back. Now this back side is significantly easier only because the mounts are already in place. I never removed them. So we just have to reinstall these bars. And because of that, I will Loctite these bolts. I need to go and take out the bolts in the front pillar mounts and Loctite them all in. I just didn't want to do that until I was sure that everything fit properly. Okay, now this side, it's not really hard, just a bit more technical. We've got to remove all this in order to get the other bracket on.
Ready?
Yep.
Let's take a break. Your lunch is ready.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll do that. That is better. Let's get back to what we're doing now. Getting this apart. All right, here we go. Well, we're waiting for the rack to dry before we can try to set it on top of the Jeep to see if it's gonna work. So might as well get the license plate moved over. That way we're all done with everything we need to do. And then we just fit the rack on and hopefully it's gonna fit. Very, very tight. All right. How close? I can get about the back and half. The front's lower. All right, this rack turned out awesome. It checks off everything that I set out to accomplish. It fits in the garage, which was a really big one. We don't have to take a trailer anymore to go exploring, which is another really big one. It looks awesome because it's nice and slim and low profile. And then also something I just thought of as I was standing here staring at it, is that without that 6-inch sidewall, you can take gear and just slide it right over the side, right on the top. It's just gonna make it easier to access and easier to tie things down and just better in every way that I can imagine. So I really like it. I think it's gonna be awesome. With that, get subscribed because we have part 2 of the Nevada Hot Spring video coming up. We did part 1 with the trailer, and that's why we're doing everything to get rid of the trailer for part 2. It's gonna be awesome. Who knows what we're gonna get into, but where I think it's gonna be really cool. So get subscribed for that. Like the video if you liked it. And with that, I think it's time to end the video. So thank you guys for watching. We really appreciate it. And we'll see you in the next one.